Nats is back. Team Liquid's Sentinel IGL superstar just put up one of the best ever performances in a single map at Masters Bangkok. Nats is already a legendary player, the first to become a god Sentinel. What he was able to do at Masters Berlin pushed forwards what we thought was even possible from this role. And since then, he had a good year with Liquid in 2023, but overall in 2024, it felt like a year of mediocrity, where he risked getting overtaken by newer talents such as Alphayear, Meteor, Benji Fishy. This year though, in 2025, he has reinvented himself. He's sniping more with the Op and the Outlaw. He's changing his setups that are time tested, and he's IGLing around it all to help Liquid get to the first Masters of the year. And despite being eliminated there to EDG and G2, it was Nats who stole the spotlight in the Swiss stages with a blowout win over Sentinels, eliminating them in style.
Made it popular, no coverage, inside! Nats! God damn!
It was Nats who invented, or at least popularized, a bunch of the standard Viper setups on Bind in 2021. Do you remember this one, for example, from the finals of Masters Berlin against Envy to be able to lift the trophy? Nats hides inside a pit no one had ever seen before. Unbelievable stuff. And now he's returned to his home map of Bind to iterate on those designs. Like this one, for example, his attacking Viper wall that he's changed up, so that now, instead of being able to lurk all the way to lamps, it offers an opportunity to do stuff like this, double pop flashing through to catch people who are trying to monitor the short lurk. Additionally, if you try to jiggle peek against this, look how tough it is for Mr. Fallen. He can't see anything from Lamp's side. It allows you to walk up so deep before you explode through, and you'll find that even Mr. Fallen gets caught by the Brim ult here. Zeus tries to play on top, which is normally a good spot to be able to play around the Viper wall, but he doesn't realize you can cross to Cubby already, and he gets double peeked from left and from right. This wall was causing so many problems for even great players like Durka, who thought he'd play in front of the wall before getting caught. And one of the other benefits of this is that your Viper Orb doesn't have to go towards lamps as well. So here Nats is putting it deep down B long, which is pretty standard too, it's just normally not combined with the same wall. Look how much pressure it applies to Levin as he tries to op this angle. He's got to get right up super deep into a very exposed position to be able to get any value from the operator here. And Nats just puts the orb back up and is able to isolate the duelist and take him out easily. This is another wall that Nats is using, and this one credit to his coach, a new coach, Lohan, who's brought this from Job Life in Tier 2. This is an eco wall alongside the Snakebite that puts a lot of pressure on the defenders because they don't know whether you're going to explode through Hookah, as Team Liquid do in this round to be able to pick up the eco win, or whether you're going to take it, as Liquid do in this round against Foot, to an eco round loss admittedly, through B long. It cuts up those crossfires that you would naturally play on the B defense between Cubby and Elbow or Sight and Elbow, and makes it more difficult to play. And you might be wondering, okay, well Nats is doing a couple of different walls here, maybe he's throwing an orb in a slightly different place, but surely this can't have a huge amount of impact. Or wait until he gets onto the defense side too, where he's almost always holding the weak side of the map. Take a look at this round, for example, where he's holding A completely alone with an unusual setup. This is an eco for Team Liquid, and the stack on B is eventually going to find overwhelming numbers to be able to push out and get the flank going for the retake. But take a look at what Nats is doing here. It's a bit of an unusual wall. It cuts off showers and cuts off short, allows him to put the defensive orb towards default, which is crucially important because it's going to be doing damage to people who are going for the spike plant. It's potentially possible for you to play off it in other ways, as we're going to look at later in later examples. But here you can see that his defensive setups, he's so comfortable with them and he's calling around them to such a degree that he's actually setting up the rest of Team Liquid for success. Nats picks off one kill from Heaven, playing around the sightlines that he's got with his Viper utility, and you see this double flank coming through behind. Padetek and Camo have managed to work a timing deep through, and now Team Liquid are on a retake scenario. Admittedly here, Kix loses a really important duel. But the eco is won by flanking, and the flank is set up because they were able to stack B, and they were able to stack B because they rely on Nats so heavily to cover the weak side of the map on his own. And you might think, well, surely that's punishable. If Nats is going to play the weak side of the map frequently, then we just find out where the Viper is and we push into him with a huge amount of people. Well, take a look at how Team Liquid mix things up on defense. So the next round that we're going to take a look at here is some idea of this. This is the orb over towards default, and they're going to double flash out through it. So it feels like the weak side of the map, and BBL were just going for a fake in that instance, but here it is again. Here's that double flash combo that you're getting to re-clear over towards the side that Nats is playing on. And this isn't standard. They're going to do it again here out through Fountain, flashing through the orb. But my point again is, this is a mix-up. This is not the normal. The normal is Nats holding the weak side of the map, and the flash is to punish that tendency. By the time Nats got onto stage to play Bind against Sentinels at Masters Bangkok, it was a crucial elimination map 3. Nats had already shown great form, dominating on Lotus on both sides of the map, and finding great success on Abyss defense as well, including pulling out some pretty legendary clutches. He struggled a little on the attack side, not able to find the same value on his lurks, entrying a little more, weirdly enough, but he found his form in OT to win a 1v2 and send Team Liquid to Bind. At this point, it was already over for Sentinels. They just didn't realize. And little did John Cutie know that he had predicted the exact amount of rounds that Sentinels would win. We joined Liquid versus Sentinels in round 4. Sentinels are forced after losing the bonus, and Liquid are stacking 3 players on B to try to hold them off, while Nats holds the weak site, as we've mentioned he usually does with Camo. Nats slips through this smoke, taking an aggressive timing to find 2 kills, the second, an incredible flick. So much of Liquid's game revolves around finding these timings, whether it's on an individual level or as a team, and Nats as a player and a caller exemplifies this. But Nats is just warming up, and the rounds are close despite a 6-0 lead for Liquid. This is where he activates, again holding the weak side and even putting his wall on B for his teammates. The early round, however, does not go well for Team Liquid, and Nats and Paditek find themselves in a 2v4 defending against Sentinels. It looks almost certain that Sen are going to put their first round on the board.
Danger. They could have got caught out, and having to use the drone now to clear out through short. Still,
you can't lose this to Nats. You can't lose this to Nats.
Sentinels have nobody holding the planter. John Cutie is AFK waiting for the post plant. Narrate is holding from a passive spot at top short on top of the box, and he's missed the angle completely, looking towards backside. And Bang is covering lamps. Both initiators would be better scaling properly instead of skipping steps and optimizing for the post plant already. In the next round, Liquid mess with your expectations by putting a Brim smoke deep B, and then Kiko rotates off. They have Nats play B with Kamek. Again, it's the weak side of the map, but Kiko will rotate back to B if there's noise or pressure over there. Kamek breaks the Tejo drone, and Kiko puts another smoke down in Hookah at about this timing for Nats to get inside of. And this gets Nats the first kill as Sentinels go exploring. Now, Nats is lucky not to get spammed back in return of this, but Kiko, you'll notice, throws another smoke down. So he's used the first one B long to mess with Sentinel's idea of what the defensive setup is, and then uses 2 back-to-back smokes for Nats to play inside of at Hookah. Again, the entire way that Liquid's crafted is around Nats on Bind. Camo's pushed all the way through showers, so if it does end A, they've got a pinch retake and they don't need to save these Brim smokes. Nats escapes for a heal, manages to get healed up by Paditek, and then is able to dodge all of these cascading ultimates that come through from Sentinels, and finds that same timing that he did in round 2 to slip back into the site. So even though Kiko dies, even though Paditek dies, Nats is back in, even using the stim beacon, weirdly enough, taking that fast timing again, using his wall to find the timing past the player in Hookah, and then getting a smoke from Zelsis of all people to play around. So he's just had every smoke this round to empower him to be able to pull off what ends up being this 2k clutch to put Team Liquid at 8-0. Nats again gets a 2k in the next round by taking timings and reading his opponents, and I'll just play the round for you.
Becoming a superstar IGL Sentinel, the likes of which we have no comparison to at Bangkok.
And it's all tempo, it's all pace. Sentinels, my God, Nats! This guy is relentless! They're already dead at this point! The Team Liquid, they don't give him a chance! Book him a flight! Book them the flight! Team Liquid are sending Sen home.
In round 10, we get to see Nat's weak site tested without ults online for the defense. Nats pops his orb here on short as Sen would try to lurk behind the wall, and then drops it to conserve fuel at the same time as Bang does. Camo manages to find the opening kill, and then as soon as the Tejo ult is used, this indicates that the exec timing is happening. So Nats uses the snakebite, pops the wall, and gets to the front site. The dog through the teleport, through showers, gives Nats the peace of mind that the shower split isn't happening, and after trying for the spray kill, he dips into the corner using himself as bait to find a timing onto Zekken, and then swaps the wall for the orb to kill the others. This is masterful stuff using an unconventional setup.
Short of divine intervention is what's needed and necessary. He's in the walls, man. He's in the walls. Good luck toppling him. The damage is done.
In round 12, to close the half, John Cutie actually calls a nice reaction. Bang hears 3 people fighting over towards Fountain. It's that double flash kind of play. And instead of reacting into A, they fake the reaction into A with the Skydog and then slowly re-clear over towards B, trying to mess with Team Liquid, not played to their tune. You see Kiko here in this corner gets hard cleared by Zekken. They've got a great understanding of what's going on, and at this point they realize that B is probably open and they can get this play in. This is a classic Nats maneuver, throwing out the snakebite to be able to get through the teleport more quickly, catch anybody that might be going into hookah, and he finds himself in a 3v4 retake with hookah control. Normally the hookah players have to be backstabs, and so they're relying on Camo to open something up, but he gets caught in elbow. Nats jumps up, deletes Zekken, an unholy kill, and the rest of the post plant completely crumbles with poor positioning from Bang and John QT, doubling up on sites without smokes. Nats gets the 2 most important kills of the round and then calls to just run the same pistol they did against BBL in EMEA. Why do anything different when you're 11-1 up? So here's the double flash play, catches through, again utilizing Nats' unique wall that he's placing over towards A. And while it's the rest of the team that opens this up, it's Nats who finishes it out with 2 clean kills towards the end onto Zelsis and John QT, which you can see here in the replay. It's exactly the same pistol. It works perfectly. Sentinels have no answer to it whatsoever. Everything working perfectly here for Team Liquid and for Nats, both as a caller and an individual. He's 24-7, heading into the final round, and it's round 14 here where they close it out. They just walk up, they have double Guardians placed onto Bang, too much damage for him, even a couple through the wall I think there. But perfect anti onto a Sky that wants to be jiggle peeking there for extra information. So they're already in a 5v4 by the time they get to the B site. Zekken desperately tries to make a play, caught in the head by Kiko, and that's all they wrote.
Team Liquid aiming to send Sen City home. The Raid swinging wide, but he's just one man. And it's all Nats leading Team Liquid forwards. What a beast of a performance, an all-timer, classic.
And this is a meta where teams were starting to move, some of them at least, away from the Viper, where we had people like Sliggy talking about how great a composition like Vice Deadlock was, where you give up the Viper and play around 2 even more powerful Sentinels. But I think Nats is showcasing that not only is Viper still his home ground, where he's being the most creative, but also he's demonstrating that he can have good performances, maybe even better performances, while IGLing. It's not necessarily taking away from his individual level. In fact, if anything, it's allowing him to craft the team's identity around his strengths, allowing him to clutch up in big moments and play the most comfortable spots possible as the most experienced player on this Team Liquid squad. And what a team to look forward to this year.